I ain't gonna lie, this needs to be talked about because I feel like when when rappers die, their labels do fucked up shit, and I feel like something has to be done about that because the same thing that happened when X died is the same thing that really just happened with Pop Smoke. When X died, they dropped the album. The album was fire. They dropped the second album, terrible. Same thing with Pop. First album was fire. Second album was bad. Now I'm hoping that they don't do the same thing with Juice because that's my favorite rapper. X is up there too, so I'm really pissed off they did it with X, and I also really love Pop Smoke as well. Not only is he from New York, he was one of the biggest and hottest artists out, and I listen to him frequently. I still do. But with Juice WRLD, it's gonna hit a lot different for me, and it's gonna like really get me like mad to the point of no return. So I'm hoping that this next Juice WRLD album is gonna be good regardless. But these labels gotta stop making money and stop money chasing off these dead rappers. It shit ain't right. But we gonna be reacting to my boy Blackie. Right, that's his name, right? Yeah, BlackySpeakz, right? Yeah, I don't know, like that coming off the tongue, that kind of sounded weird. I don't know why. We're gonna be reacting to my boy BlackySpeakz, just talking about how the industry took over Pop Smoke's album, which they did. And I feel like the only reason why Pop Smoke's last album was really as good as it was because 50 Cent was the one that put it together. But since the industry had all the control over this, they the ones that put all those features on there and all of that. So they messed up with it, and it sounded like an unfinished product that was trying to get put together. That's what it sounded like to me.
No, this is just straight up sad, man. Honestly, this new Pop Smoke album is a disgrace to his discography. I don't know what other way to put it. What we have right here is a situation where the industry has essentially taken over Pop Smoke's album. Hate to say it, but it's the truth. I have a couple things to say about this new Pop Smoke album, though. So, yeah. Let's talk about it. Now, first things first, rest in peace to Pop Smoke like always. Definitely a rapper who I think would be doing some great things if he was here right now. It's hard to not think about what kind of levels he would have reached hadn't he been taken away so young. With that being said, gotta talk about this new Pop Smoke album, man. And unfortunately, it's not because I have too many good things to say about it. The other day, we got a new Pop Smoke album titled Faith. This serves as the second posthumous Pop Smoke album. The first one was, of course, Shoot for the Stars, Aim for the Moon, which dropped a little over 1 year ago. Now, this new Pop Smoke album, Faith, what's the verdict on it? Well, it's a bad one.
A year, I think more than.
Kind of hurts that I even have to come on here and say a bunch of negative things about a project the man himself, Pop Smoke, had nothing to do with. And what hurts the most is knowing the fact that this album would have not sounded the way it sounded had he been here. If you've been on social media the past 48 hours at all, then you probably know that the album hasn't gotten the best reception, which is not surprising at all. Listening to this new Pop Smoke album got me a little bit heated, I can't even lie. I went into this project wanting to hear Pop Smoke, but all I really got was a bunch of other artists. 20% of this new Pop Smoke album is actually Pop Smoke himself. The remaining 80% is the features. This is a 20-track album with only 6 of those being solo Pop Smoke records. Also keep in mind that 1 out of those 6 is an interlude. The remaining 14 songs on this album are slapped with a bunch of features, a lot of them being completely pointless, not because the songs themselves are bad, but because you can clearly hear how overly drawn out the project was with the help of those features. This album sounds so stretched out, it's not even funny. I put up this tweet on Twitter really yesterday saying,
like, that album, it literally sounds like, it sounds like if I were to, let's say, take a Drake song, right? Take out like half of his verse and just have the instrumental on the end and just record the rest of the song like we made the song together. That's what this album literally sounds like. Because, you know, if I can rap or sing or whatever, it's not going to sound bad, but it's not going to sound like a finished product. It's not going to sound like we made this song together. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Maybe that's not a good analogy, but You feel me?
This new Pop Smoke album is like 20% Pop Smoke and 80% features. I want to hear Pop Smoke on his own album, not a bunch of other artists. This is me just venting, speaking my mind as I see it, but I got a lot of responses from people saying, the man is dead. What do you expect from a posthumous album? Stop complaining. There's a lot of people who share this perspective on not only posthumous albums in general, but this album specifically. Where I think a lot of people go wrong is not realizing that for a posthumous album to be a thing, it doesn't have to be overly drawn out like this Pop Smoke album was. Pop Smoke's album has 20 songs, with only 6 of those being solo Pop Smoke records. Where they went wrong here is the fact that they're clearly desperately trying to piece together a Pop Smoke album where the majority of the project isn't Pop Smoke himself. This is the direction the industry is unfortunately going in with posthumous projects. The big issue with a lot of these albums is instead of dropping, let's say, a 10-track album that sounds complete, meaning they take a bunch of songs Pop Smoke recorded while he was here, right? Take those songs and package that into a complete album. That's not what's going on here. What they're now doing is taking these unfinished songs, taking all the pieces apart, taking some vocals here and there from that song and slapping that over this instrumental that might go along with his voice on this other incomplete song. So what they're essentially doing is they're taking a bunch of incomplete pieces of music, trying to piece that together by clearly forcing it, and whatever percentage that's remaining in order for that song to be 100%, they fill that void with features. So now we have a situation where Pop Smoke's discography is getting watered down because the industry is getting greedy as hell. These posthumous albums are completely throwing the concept of a creative vision in the garbage. As far as they, in this case the label who's in charge of all this,
I can't explain it any better. Like, he's explaining it so perfect, I don't have to say anything.
They know they have one task that needs to be complete, which is put together a Pop Smoke album, and that is the issue here. We're trying to complete this task without considering what the actual end result is gonna be. We're forgetting that Pop Smoke was an artist who was very strategic with his features. He wasn't a collab with any and every artist I can reach kind of rapper. He just wasn't. I mean, take a look at his first project, Meet the Woo. Meet the Woo had 0 features on it. Now the deluxe ended up having 2 features. Nikki is one of those features. She was on a Welcome to the Party remix, and the other feature is Skepta, who was on a second edition of the Welcome to the Party remix, and then Meet the Woo 2 had 5 features on it. That was a 13-track project with 8 of those being solo Pop Smoke songs. The deluxe edition ended up having 3 additional features, so make that 8. Whatever artistic vision Pop Smoke had for the music he recorded while he was still alive, that's now getting thrown out the window. We're not really considering the fact that he didn't really collab with any and every single artist out there, are we? Pop Smoke ain't the first rapper who's unfortunately gone through this though. We've all seen what happened to XXXTentacion's
Literally exactly what I said, because it's literally, bro, the same shit happened with X. They put out a terrible product that man himself would not have put out his damn self. Same thing with Pop. First album was good, second album wasn't. Same Pop. The first album they put out was good, second album wasn't. They trying to stretch shit instead of just letting these people rest in peace and leaving their legacy where it's at.
Legacy. Now, what happened to X is a whole nother level. We're not talking strictly the music in that case. We're talking X's entire legacy getting stained because of how it was handled after his death. As far as the music, though, we've all seen the contrast between the music X dropped while he was still alive and how the music sounded in all those posthumous albums. It's a night and day difference, and it's sad that it even got to that point. I think the late Juice WRLD's legacy has been handled great. Nothing to say there for the time being. I also think Lil Peep's legacy is a textbook example.
See, I don't know anything about Lil Peep. I don't listen to Lil Peep. The only Lil Peep song I know is the song that should have never been dropped, was the song with him and X. That's it. That's all I know about Lil Peep. I would probably said him too, but I don't know anything about anything that dropped after he died other than that one song.
Of how a deceased artist's legacy should be handled. The same also goes for Mac Miller. They've been doing a great job with Mac Miller's legacy. As for Pop Smoke, there hasn't been anything to criticize up until this point. I still think Shoot for the Stars, Aim for the Moon had a little too many features for my taste, but the thing about that project is it actually sounds finished. It doesn't sound drawn out. The features don't sound forced. They're actually complimenting Pop Smoke on that project. It's only a problem when we have a situation like the one we have right now, where the deceased artist, in this case Pop Smoke's, artistic vision gets overshadowed by the label's need and greed to drop this album. As long as the actual music doesn't get compromised, we won't have a problem. But the second we start hearing it in the music, that's when it becomes a problem. You get me? A couple other things I want to bring up. Number one, and this is kind of shocking, the people who are closest to Pop Smoke, at least one of them, had no clue an album was even dropping. Mike D, one of Pop Smoke's close friends, said this on Instagram yesterday. For anybody saying, why did I let anybody drop this or that? He's referring to the album, of course. I had no involvement in my dog's album. I didn't even know an album was dropping until it got broadcasted on the internet. I'm upset my damn self because I know he wouldn't even want it like this. Here we have one of Pop Smoke's closest friends talking about had he been here today, he would have never even co-signed this album himself. Let's also talk about the fact that UK producer 808 Mello, who produced some of Pop Smoke's biggest records, was left out of the creation of this album. He put up this tweet on Twitter yesterday and said, "Don't complain to me about the album. I had no involvement in it, and you guys know that." Obviously, a lot of people were going to him all confused. Obviously, because he worked with Pop Smoke while he was still alive. People were going to him looking for answers after the release of the album, asking, what is this? Why does the album sound like this? We definitely got an issue when the man himself, who helped Pop Smoke build the foundation of his entire sound, gets left out of creating one of his projects. At this point, I'm confused, man, and it's kind of sad that it's gotten to this point. This new Pop Smoke album is essentially the industry hijacking Pop Smoke's own album. Pop Smoke was a damn feature on his own album. He wasn't the highlight. I think considering how much money is actually not only in the music business, but the business of posthumous projects in general, at this point, these kinds of things are to be expected. And it sounds strange even saying that, because are you telling me the industry is now somehow slowly but surely normalizing profit over the art as it relates to the legacy of these artists? That's unfortunately the direction we're headed in, and ain't a damn thing we can do about it. With that being said, I think we all have the right to be at least a little upset. I don't want anything but to see the legacy of Pop Smoke or any of our fallen soldiers stay intact and get treated with the utmost care. I'd be lying to myself if I said that I didn't see something like this coming. At the end of the day, there's money to be made here, so that's always going to be the focal point of these posthumous albums. If they can make these albums sound at least a little bit decent with whatever incomplete pieces of music they have at their disposal, 9 times out of 10 they're going to proceed with that and try to fill in the blanks with a bunch of features. It is what it is. What can you do? But yeah, the industry has clearly taken over Pop Smoke's album. We got 20% of actual Pop Smoke on his own album. What a disgrace. Anyway, any thoughts on this new Pop Smoke album? I have a feeling you might have a couple things to say about it, so if you want to let out...
Alright, well, that's basically the end of this video. I really don't have nothing further to say about it. At the end of the day, what they be doing to these rappers after they die and the way they be handling shit is fucked up. You know, I'm not saying, you know, it's fucked up every time, but as y'all can see, it can get there with the snap of a finger, and you don't even see it coming. Hope y'all enjoyed that video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Definitely turn on post notification bell so y'all never miss an upload from me, yours truly. I'm trying to go crazy. Remember, follow. Comment some videos down below for me to react to, because I don't know. I'm gonna catch you on the next one. I'll post I don't know how much videos I'm gonna post tomorrow, but we're gonna be late tomorrow. Catch you on the next one.